Hey there, welcome back to Angry Bird. I'm going to break down why billionaires should not exist. And before you guys get all chest thumpy on me, they deserve it, they deserve it, they deserve it, don't tax them, don't tax them, they deserve it. They're helping us. Before y'all get like that, just hear the math. Give me a chance. Hear the fucking math, all right? All right. Washington State has a county, Tukwila. If you make $20.29 an hour there, that's the highest paid minimum wage in our country. You'd make about $42,200 a year, and if you spent nothing ever, you would only get there to $1 billion in about 23,695 years. Angry Bird, come on, man, minimum wage. You're never going to become a billionaire making minimum wage. Fine, I get that. You're damn right you're not. You never could. You never could. All right? So let's talk about the highest paid professions in the U.S. Let's talk about physicians. If you don't know, the average physician, there's a lot of layers, so forgive me for not pointing out the highest ones yet, but the average physician makes $228,730 a year. $228,730 a year would change anyone's life in the USA on the average. That is well above living means. That means you could plan things, do things that so many people can't do. You would live very comfortably like that. All right, but it would still take you 4,371 years to become a billionaire. And that's it again if you spent $0. Zero. All right. So let's talk about the highest one. Come on, Tyler. The highest one. We're talking about the 1%ers here. We're talking about the best of the best of the best of the best, right? All right. So we're talking about neurosurgeons, the highest paid people in the USA. The highest paid people that work for a living. Okay. They make $689,301 a year on average. Imagine that, man. You're almost, $700,000 a year. That changes your whole life. There's nothing you can't really do except maybe fly to space. Okay? And even then, you would get there in what? 1,450 years. All right? 1,450 years. If you make the most you can possibly make in the U.S. So I'm just going to let that register for a sec. Think about that. If you worked and you went to school and you did everything and you became the smartest people in the U.S., the smartest of the smartest. We're talking about careers here. We're talking about 10 years of learning and then I don't know how many years, 8 years of intern or 4 years of intern. And then, we're talking about the smartest of the smartest and the most dedicated of the most dedicated people. And it would take them over 1,000 years minimum, if they spent nothing ever. Okay. So let's talk about some other numbers. Okay, talk about some other numbers. If you don't know, there's graphs, charts, there's all sorts of different things you can look up and see and find. The U.S. population is currently at 333.29 million. Okay, so if you just divide it in half, you get to about 645 million. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about half. We're going to talk about half of you, half of us, half everybody. We have between us all, and I say us because I couldn't tell you for sure. I'm sure I'm above, but barely. If at all. But the average person in that group, on average, and you got to remember, 50% goes a long way. 166 million people goes pretty high up the chain. But on average, we own 24,000 $963 in wealth each. 4.13 trillion total. Okay. So that ain't a lot, man. I mean, think about that. I mean, how you ever going to retire? How are we ever going to do anything? If you only have $24,000 to your name, on average, are you going to be able to retire? No. You need Social Security to retire. They're trying to kill that. Just as an idea, I'm just throwing it out there, okay? You would need Social Security to retire if you're in that fucking group. They don't want that group to retire. They want that group to work forever. 24,000. Okay? I'm going to talk about a different group now. 0.01%. Okay? That's 33,329 people in the U.S. 33,329 people. And I'm going to tell you something. They own 13.5% of all the money, of all the wealth, of all everything. And that equates to that every single person in that group, every single one of them, each has about $600 million each. Each. Okay? 600 million. So, again, not trying to be a jerk here, but 600 million, that's a lot of money, right? That's on average, man. That's average too. That's per person. And if I divided that by our highest paid people, Mr. Neurosurgeons out there, I spent my whole life getting educated. I've worked my ass off for this, and I deserve it. Neurosurgeons. You would need 870 years just to get to the 600 million that they already have each. I mean, what in the actual fuck is that about? They own so much shit you can't even comprehend how much they own. And that's why I wanted to break it down in numbers. You know, so if you took 600 million, all right? If you don't know how to do the math on 600 million, that's 6 with 8 zeros. Right? You divide it by a salary. What's the salary? Well, the salary is 698,301. 689,301. And that equals 870. Our top dogs would have to work 870 years, never spending a fucking penny, to become a billionaire. What world is that okay? I mean, think about what rules billionaires have to do to manipulate it to where they still want more tax breaks, man. They still want more power. You know, the stock market, 49.5% or something, or equities is owned by like that 0.01% group. That's like half of everything. You can't give that group everything because all they're going to do is rent it to us. We have to make laws to get rid of that group. They shouldn't exist. Somebody shouldn't exist where they get given a fucking golden spoon like that. Where the highest paid, most educated people in the fucking our country, has to work 870 years and not spend a fucking penny just to get where they start out at. That shouldn't happen. That kind of wealth should never exist. That kind of wealth transferring should never exist. There's more to the story. There's a lot more breakdown I want to give, but that's the starting point. That's what I wanted to tell you guys, and I wanted to give you guys some numbers because numbers matter. People cannot put their head around $1 billion. But when they hear somebody say, the government cut $1 billion, they go, whoa, woo, yeah. They don't even realize $1 billion in the, a cut in the bill, $1 billion cut in the government is like a penny. They don't realize the math. They don't see the math. They don't understand the math. They hear $1 billion and they think something big happened and it's a penny. But yet to make $1 billion as a citizen, all is forgiven. They don't even comprehend how much money and wealth and power had to be stolen from 50% of the population to give a handful of people so much money to start with. You never have to do shit. You could spend your life on X and Twitter, whatever, and manipulate everybody for a fucking living. You would never have to work. You could fake everything your whole fucking life. You could pay people off your whole fucking life. This is why they shouldn't exist. Because when they make shit break laws, they cover them up. They have so much power, so much wealth. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of years worth of fucking power and wealth in the hands of one person. At any rate, just a thought. Love y'all. Bye.